Oh, sorry, mate. I was listening to one of your snares. It's Artifact. How's everyone doing? Got a little vital bass for you guys today, so let's have a listen. It's this arpeggiated bass. I quite like this one, and I'm going to run you through the patch quickly from start to finish. So if we look at the MIDI, essentially we have this long arpeggiated sound with a couple of little pitch bends that happen throughout the course of the note. So if we're going to recreating the patch in Vital now, we start off with the initial preset and we just pitch this up an octave, and we've kind of got a little bit of fine tuning on here just to mess with the exact pitching a little bit, make it a little bit more natural. And then we're just tracking this level to this LFO1 here, which is on 1/8, and it has this kind of ramping down pattern with a bit of a smooth curve. And we've got a little bit of delay on the start, so it doesn't actually happen right away. There's a little bit of a gap before the actual sound starts. And just to time that delay, we've sort of tracked it to our drums. So it's still in time with the rest of the beat. If we move on to what we do next is we actually add in a little sub bass underneath to give this a little bit more punch. Should mention as well that this first one has a bit of unison detuning to give it a bit more of a stereo feel. The third sound we add then is this sine saw, which is one of the wavetables here on the free version of Vital. And this one is quite important because it's going to be doing a different rhythm to the rest of the ARP. So where the rest of the ARP stabs are doing this kind of main rhythm, this is going to be the counter rhythm. And for this reason, we're tracking the level the other way on this one. So if you listen to this one on its own and play it with the other ones. So this is doing the reverse movement in terms of the level on the LFO. And this one is providing this kind of main kind of character, and to enhance that we've put on a few effects on this oscillator, namely the vocode, which gives things a little bit more of a human feel, and the sync mode as well, which kind of just blends the wavetable, or bends the wavetable, sorry, and makes it a little bit more expressive. And on both of these options here, we've chosen a new LFO, which is doing a different pattern. This is a slower pattern. So as the ARP is hitting its fast normal pattern in LFO1, on the LFO2 here, we're bringing in some changes that happen over time on a slower frequency here. So that's the main kind of wavetables of the ARP. And then if we go on to the next part, the reason why I left this little gap here at the beginning is so I could have a white noise hit at the start, sorry. So how we've done that is we've basically created a third LFO, and on this one we have this kind of little part here where the white noise triggers and then it turns off. So that's all we've done, is track the level of the white noise to this part here. So we'd have like a white noise hit and then the arpeggiator starts, and this makes it a little bit more intricate and interesting in the groove of the song. The next thing we do is we add a filter, and we're just going to be filtering pretty much everything from the wavetables and the noise, and we're going to be using the LFO2 again to kind of bring in and out the filter on a slower kind of movement. So if I just turn this mix off here, you can hear exactly what it's doing. So it kind of goes up and down a little bit in time with our kind of variation filter here. And just to kind of enhance the little stabs of the actual ARP, I did put the LFO1 back onto the mix and tracked it back here. So you reintroduce some of that high end just for the little hit at the start of each ARP. Each ARP note, you know what I mean. Next thing we do is crack on with the effects, and this is where things start to liven up quite a lot. So we've got a chorus here on the freeze mode, which is very slightly changing the depth and character of the sound by modulating these settings here with the LFO2 on this slower variation. Next we throw on a compressor with nothing too crazy happening, and then distortion starts to really impact the sound quite a lot. And on this drive, we're also modulating this on our kind of variation LFO here. So this starts to give a lot more life into the sound. Then on the EQ, we can enhance the actual stabs of the ARP again. by tracking our main LFO, our fast one, LFO1, to the gain of this particular frequency band, which you can see is going to start to jump up and down. Then next thing we do is simply add a phaser to add a bit more variation, and this is just going to come in on the mix and out on the mix, again to our variation LFO here, this LFO2. So it kind of phases in a little bit and then phases back out a bit to give it a bit more kind of life. And then finally a bit of reverb on the end just to sort of tie everything together. Give it a nice big kind of room sound. We might want to be careful with how much low end we're leaving in here, but in this case it sounds pretty good. So that's the Sounds of Time Arpeggiator. I hope you learned a little bit from this patch, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely day, and see you soon. Ciao.